growth
You
perspective.
probably should not start using a weighted ball program until you're at least 16, at least a junior in high school. The problem is, as you work your way up, if you have, and something we talked about at the very start of this, higher velocity, higher spin rate, more successful. And if you have poor accuracy, scouts say we can teach you that. Not a big
Right,
deal.
right.
So if you can go out and throw 91 as a 15-year-old and you're emptying the tank and you have no control, but you can throw 91, you're probably going to get a look someplace.
No, you're very marketable,
Yeah.
but again, at what cost?
So, and that's the problem is the way the system is set up. And again, because the surgical techniques are so good right now, if it is something that you tear, and the lay public knows a lot about the Tommy John surgery, but what if it's not that? What if it's continuous wear and tear of your rotator cuff or your labrum, your shoulder? What if it's continuous fraying of tissue and there's nothing surgical to fix? What if it's a stress fracture because you're using a weighted ball and you're 15 and throwing as hard as you can? The weak link is the growth plate.
Yeah.
I've read on this, published on this. There's data on this. If you have open growth plates, you should not be using a weighted ball.
Say that
Period.
again. Say it
If
one
you
more
have
time.
open growth plates,
Okay, so
yeah,
that
if you have
means
open growth
there's
plate
growth plates at the top and the bottom end of the humerus,
everywhere,
everywhere,
but particularly in the
along
elbow
one.
and the
Right.
shoulder.
Physiology
And
from a growth
you
perspective.
probably should
Killing
not
it.
start using a weighted ball program until you're at least 16, at least a junior in high school. And only then it should be a part of the program. It shouldn't be the major part of your pitching and training program. And we say this, whoever is going to be coaching you or is your sports performance coach or whomever should have some experience. It shouldn't just be grip and rip. Now, some people have access to really good sports scientists, athletic trainers, pitching coaches. Some don't. That's just a facet of our country is so big and there's resources or varying levels at throughout the country, throughout the region. It just is what it is. But I think that is part of it. I have some data that shows this as well, where you throw faster, you have increased risk of pain, increased risk of injury. Now you use a device and a program that, quite honestly, if you follow it, will increase your velocity. So again, that's a successful program, but it comes with that risk.
Yep.
So it almost comes back to if the parents or caregivers or grandparents or whatever, and the athletes say, you know what, I'm willing to take that risk. Like, okay, I've done my job. I've given you all the information. Let's see what happens. And I
Right.
think that's what's really important. The problem is, do we as physicians, do we as the medical staff say, you know what, as long as they're aware of it, we're going to let it roll because the kids might be more successful. And we know, particularly as you get up into the collegiate professional ranks, it's all about the wins, you know, which then allows the manager, the general manager, the scouts to stay in place. And if they don't, there's going to be turnover again because they need to be successful. Well, that's professional level. But what do high school kids do?
Right.
Emulate the pros.